All right, next vintage gear review, Marantz Model 22. It was hard finding specific information about this model or this model series. I mean, I found a little bit. So I'm going to say, you know, as far as when these were made in the late 60s. The only year that I found was 1969. It's direct coupled, right? And talk about that in a minute. Power output is 40 watts per channel. This one tested before I did whatever I did to it, which will be coming up in a future video series. So a little bit of history. When I got this, it was not making any sound. Just want to see. I don't think I can tune in a station down here. No, not really. Nope. Okay, so anyway, sorry. Again, I'm in my basement and I don't have an antenna hooked up to this. So anyway, I'll talk about what I did to this when I got it. It had some issues. Dimensions 17 by 5.5 by 15. So this is very close to the 2200 series receivers I'll talk about that in a little bit. Weight 37 pounds. So information about the series. So prior to 1969, and again, I'm going by my limited information. I'm not a Marantz historian. Right, let me move that a little bit. But you had the U.S. manufactured model 18 and 19. Those are beautiful. I would love, one of my dream pieces of gear is a Marantz 18. I would absolutely love to get my hands on one of those. Not work on it because from what I understand, they're kind of a pain. But I would love to get one restored, and I may, who knows, maybe I'll find one someday at a decent price. But regardless, 18 and 19 were U.S. manufactured, right? Command a premium price. Marantz shifted production to Japan, from what I understand, and it's either they shifted design and production, or just design or just production. Again, I found different bits and pieces of information. And I believe it was through standard radio in Japan. So you had in the series lineup for, I'm not sure how many years, you had an 18, 19 made in the US. You had the 22, 26, 27, and 28. Now the 22 and the 27, they're the same size. The 26 and 28, which I think they might be the same thing, they're quite a bit smaller. And I've had several 26s and 28s that I have worked on. So this was the first 100% solid state Marantz. That's what I found. And again, I've not worked on an 18 or 19, so that may not be 100% true. This was the first one with an AM tuner. I believe the 18 and 19 are FM only. And again, this was the precursor to the 2200 series. So you can see a lot of the same design cues in the 22 and 20, well, I'm not sure about the 27, the 22 for sure, and the 2200 series. So aesthetically, it's iconic Marantz, right? It has an engraved face, but it's not engraved. The quality of the engraving on this is not equal to the quality or the quality of the engraving on like the Marantz 2230 and 2270s, you know, especially those champagne face ones, and I will have our gear review coming up on one of those. So it's not quite as nice, but it's still an engraved face, so that's cool. So it shares the size and some of the design cues of the 2200 series, but it also shares some of the design cues of the 26 and 28, which is the smaller kind of version of this. Now there is a cabinet option for this, and I can't say whether or not what I'm about to tell you is 100% factual, but I don't know why my camera keeps kind of dipping down on that one side, so let me fix that. I think that's good. I have a camera mount that's not very helpful at times. The 22 cabinet I've heard will not fit this. I've heard that it's close, but it's not exact. From what I understand, The WC22, like I said, may fit, but the WC3 or 4 is the cabinet that you would use on one of these. And the images, when I show you the sale prices, you'll see a couple where the cabinet is different. It's not the traditional kind of recessed where the receiver kind of sits in the cabinet. The ones that I have seen in a cabinet are typically kind of flush. But who knows? I mean, 50 years, people make cabinets, right? Custom cabinets. It's like I said, it's direct coupled. So what does that mean? It's got a little bit of a brighter sound, a little more detail. But I'll tell you that it's not obnoxious. It's not overly bright. It's not overly low. It's got a very nice sound to it. It's got that distinctive Marantz sound, and I don't know how to explain that other than I think it's very balanced, pretty mellow. Yeah, even sound. Operation, simple, right? So you've got, now this, I explained this in the video what this does. This antenna tuning, this has a specific function, right? So unless you know what you're doing with this, do not press that button. It is a button. So again, in the repair video on this, I will talk about that. But you've got phono 1 and 2, which is cool, AM, FM, auxiliary, and tape. You also have a tape monitor button, right? You've got a mono left or mono right. You've got high blend, low filter, high filter, loudness. I don't know what high blend does. I'll research that and put it in the video when I figure out what that does. Muting off button, main speakers, right? Yeah, you can have 2 sets of speakers on here. You can run them both at the same time. It's got this gyro, right, tuning dial. Balance, volume, bass. Now these are bass and treble. The tone controls are split. Right, so you can change the level of bass or treble depending on the channel. Hookups in the back. I'll snap a pic and show you the hookups in the back. They're pretty basic. I may have a lamp going out. It's kind of flickering there, so I may have to swap that out real quick before I send this on to a new home. Let's see. What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? Okay, so we have all the functions. So things to look out for if you're looking at picking one of these up, you know, knobs and button caps, and then power. Make sure you have a good power button, or power switch, I should say, not button. You can have in and out for dubbing, that's for tape, and then a headphones jack. Pretty basic. So easy to operate, easy to connect to, nothing real tricky on the back. This has spring-loaded speaker connects, which is really nice, as well as spring-loaded FM antenna and AM antenna. In terms of servicing one of these, I think these are intermediate to beginner. Like if intermediate's right in the middle, right? It's kind of beginner / intermediate. I have not found this particular model, the 22 or the 26s or 28s that I've worked on, to be particularly challenging. You can pretty much get to everything. You can remove boards easily. You don't have to really remove any wires connecting the boards. At least I have not had to do that. If you do come across one of these, though, they do have, well, at least the 2200 series, they have some common problems. So I have several videos where I've repaired a Marantz, 2220, 2230, maybe a 2245 or 2270. I have so many that I've looked at, where you have distortion on a channel. So the emitter resistors, right, they're like 0.24 ohm or 0.22 ohm, I don't remember. But they'll go bad for whatever reason. So that's kind of common. At least, again, on the 2200 series. Now, I don't know about the 22 or the 27. Out of spec caps. When you watch the video on this one, the caps were out of control on this. They were just completely out of spec. And the 2200 series, at least the 2220s and 2230s, it's common to have a bridge rectifier that's bad. I don't know about this one. I don't recall seeing like a traditional bridge rectifier, a part that you would buy. I don't remember how AC power was rectified to DC on this one, so I don't think that's a common problem on this, but I know on the 2200 series it can be a kind of a common issue. I didn't find any problem transistors in here, so none that were on the bad transistor list. So I didn't have to go and replace any transistors on this one at all. So let's talk about price. So now this is going to be naturally plus or minus maybe $100 or $200 depending on cabinet, because cabinets add a couple $100. But what I have found, and I could not find hardly any sales for these on eBay when I put this video together. I will tell you that, again, people ask crazy prices for this. I'm going to flash up one. Someone's asking like $2,500 for one. It says new in stock in the box, or in the box. I can't tell you how many new in the box that I've pulled out that were not new in the box. They were actually very, very used. So your mileage may vary. But what I have found in my eBay searching, and I've done this several times a day for the last several years looking for gear to pick up. If you get one of these restored in the cabinet, pristine condition, no scratches. This has a couple of marks here and there on it. You're looking at around $800, maybe $1,000 with the cabinet, maybe $900 with the it's just kind of hard to price these or to value these, but I think $800 would be a good price. Now this one's not in the cabinet, but this one has been recapped, right? So again, pristine, cosmetically restored, electronically restored. I could see $900, $800. Working. So this is a working plus. This has not been restored, but it has been recapped, but it doesn't have the cabinet, right? So, but I would say a working model in really good shape. $500, maybe some work was done to it, but not a lot of work was done to it. $400 to $500 with a cabinet, maybe $600. Again, it's hard to price these. They're kind of all over the place. Now for parts, you can get these for under $300 for a unit to work on, right? Mine I got for about, it was like $275. This one I got for $275, right? So I would value this one. I got it for, it wasn't working. I went through and recapped it, and the recap job was not very difficult at all, and you'll see that in the video series. No real issues. I would put this out at probably $600, $550, something like that. I know it's not in the cabinet, but it's been recapped, and it sounds fantastic. And the caps haven't really done their burn-in yet, right? They haven't formed yet. That 10 to 12 hours or 16 hours that they should run, right? So you could, and naturally you can get a good working or reconditioned model or parts unit for more than what I shoot out there or less than I shoot out there. Plus, if you're watching this 2 years from now, who knows what the value will be on this? Hell, who knows 6 months from now what the value will be on one of those or one of these. So anyway, so I like this. I like Marantz's. I currently only own one Marantz, and it's a 2230 that I did a repair series on. I'll do a gear review on that at some point in time. I'm on the purging side of a binge and purge. I get a lot of this gear and I don't have time to work on it, and then I just kind of buckle down and I run through it. I figure out what I want to keep, and then I sell it off. So that's what I'm currently doing. This is already spoken for, so this is going to a new home. May have to fix that light though, because once I touch a piece of equipment, I don't ever want to see it again. That's my goal. So anyway, that's the Marantz 22 review. If you like what you see, hit like, hit subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.